So here's our next lesson with using the text, A Bird's Free Lunch. So yesterday we read through it to understand what's going on. And just a reminder, I'm going to read my summaries on the side of those key details to show those important events. So far the text is a description of some birds that the writer is watching as they share a bird feeder. The author cares about the birds and he worries about them. He also explains what and how the birds eat. So this is what's called a literary essay. And it's using descriptive language to tell about a topic. In this case, tell us about birds, and it's going to contain different structures. And we're going to talk today about what those structures are. So one way that the author organizes information is by using a compare and contrast. And this shows how two things are similar and how those two things are different. So today we're going to identify and describe the compare and contrast structure in A Bird's Free Lunch. So we're going to be filling out this chart over here as we read through and look at A Bird's Free Lunch again. So I'm going to slide it over so we can see all of it. We lost part of our summary over here, so I'm just going to slide it over a little bit for us. I'm going to read paragraph 4 as our example. The fat meat is fuel for him. It keeps up the supply of animal heat. None of the birds will eat lean meat. They want the clear fat. The jays alight upon it and peck away with great vigor, almost staying on tiptoe to get the proper sweet. So far, it's just telling us about how birds eat this meat. The woodpecker uses his head alone in pecking, but the jay's action involves the whole body. Yet his blows are softer, not so sharp and abrupt as those of the woodpecker. Pecking is not exactly his business. So we're going to zoom in on this part, because there's something I wanted you guys to notice as we read. This sentence right here, it says, none of the birds will eat lean meat. Oops, and I did that yesterday as well. So let me pick a better color for us, because it just doesn't like that blue. There we go. So none of the birds will eat lean meat. So what is this? It's using the word none to act as a signal word, to tell me something is different about this. The author uses the word none to show a similarity among the birds. The birds are similar because none of them will eat lean meat. So I'm going to put this in my chart. So right here for paragraph 4, sentence number, and then what sentence number is that? Well, that's 1, 2. So that's sentence number 2 for me. I'm going to drag this all the way across. Remember, we're going to make it a little bit bigger for our, oops, I did that wrong. I need 1 per column. We're going to make it a little bit bigger so we can see it better. And what do we know about paragraph 2? Well, the signal word is none. It's letting me know that this is how they're similar or this is how they're different. So that's what I mean by a signal word. Something that's showing us how they're similar or different. And then is it a comparison or is it a contrast? Well, it's a comparison. And why is it a comparison? It's comparison because it's telling us how they are different. It shows how, not how they are different, it's showing us how all the birds are similar. So let me add that for us. Here we go. And I'm going to make it bigger, and then I'll worry about correcting that spelling. So remember, what's nice again about us being on the computer for distance learning is that we have our spell check in here. So remember our spell check, we just right click and look right here. We have it spelled correctly. So make sure you use that tool as you're going along. Now we have this next part right here, also found in paragraph 4. The woodpecker uses his head alone in pecking, but the jay's action involves its whole body. So I'm going to highlight that again, but I'm going to highlight in a different color, just so I know there's something a little bit different about it. So what do we have here? It says, the woodpecker uses his head alone in pecking, but the jay's action involves the whole body. So it's telling me something there. It's telling me that it's different. So what sentence number is that? Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if I counted correctly. So let me try again, because it's at the bottom. 1, there it is. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's sentence number 6. So I'm going to put 6 down here, and what's my signal word? What's telling me how they're the same or how they're different? It's the word but. is saying the woodpecker is like this, but the jay is like this. So that's a contrast. It's telling me they're not the same, and that word but is letting me know that there's a difference that's coming up. And how are they not the same? Well, one, it shows that the woodpecker's motion is different than the blue jay's pecking motion. It's telling me one uses its whole body, but the other just uses its head. Now this one's a little bit bigger, so I have to shrink my font size down so it will all fit in that one section. So it looks like I have to go a little bit smaller. So let's try 15. There we go. Now, is there another one that we can find? Oh, Mr. Wimbley made a mistake. This isn't 2, because it's 1, 2, 3. It's paragraph 3, so sorry about that, guys. So now, what's another difference that I can find? What other sentence in here has a comparison or a contrast? How does the author tell me how the blue jay and the woodpecker are the same or different? So let's keep going. And if I look right here, my very next sentence, sentence number 7, actually tells me as well. It says, his blows are softer, not so sharp and abrupt as those of the woodpecker. So it's telling me again, his is different, but it's not just because of his head, it's because of his energy or his force that he's using. So what do I have for my signal words? Wouldn't there let me know that it's the same or different? Well, this one's actually full of them. We have the word yet. Yet is similar to that word but, saying, hey, there's going to be a difference coming up. And there's also this one as well, not so. We normally don't use that as much, especially in 4th grade, but not so is also saying, hey, he is different from this other. He's not like this other. So those are my signal words. I put them in the wrong spot, so let me move them on over. It's paragraph 4, sentence 7. And our signal words were not and yet. And then what is this telling me? Again, it's telling me it's a contrast. And what do we know about that? Well, it's telling me that the jay's blow against the suet is different than the woodpecker's blow. Remember, it's saying one's hard and one's not as hard. So that's how we go about figuring out how something's the same or different. And when we do our own writing that we will start next week for this, I want you to try to use these signal words as well to show the structure, to show how something is similar and how something is different. Now, we have some other signal words as well that I want you to also notice before we end this lesson. We can use the word also. Also is what? Also is a comparison. And I'm going to just do a new one for us. Oops, so let me slide this over. So also is a comparison. We have the word none, which we already talked about, is a comparison. What else do we have? We have the word, oops, I put that in the wrong spot. Also and none are comparisons. And I abbreviated that as COP. We also have our other words. We have the word not, or not so, that we've talked about. We have the word none, but, yet, as. We have the word more. What do you think more is? So if you said more is a contrast, you are correct. Think of this sentence. He uses more force than her. We're comparing the he and her, and we're saying they're different because one has more force or one's stronger. Think about this sentence as well. She has more speed than him. Again, we're comparing him and her, but we're saying one is faster. We're saying one is different. So there's many more compare and contrast words. So I just want you to think as we get ready for our writing next week. We're going to be writing about chipmunk and comparing it. I want you to think about those signal words that you can use in your structure. Good job, guys.